And they chit-chat. And then say,
then
okay,
the
good.
bloopers end up on the...
Yeah, then end of the day, I only realized much later that the finished recording, the chit-chat part, is the interview.
Oh, damn.
So they're recording that part, but
Actually,
they tell
we
you
need to
they
do
turn
something
off.
like that.
Yeah.
It's psychologically quite fun. for
Yeah.
us.
I see.
So
Put
it
you
was
at
quite
ease.
fun. Yeah, correct.
put you
And
at
they
ease.
wanted more natural, because the series was going to be recorded over 3 weeks.
Oh, of course.
So they didn't want the played up
staged one,
one, the acted one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot more relaxed.
So let's talk about the economy, right? Because it seems like some people say the economy is bad. Some people say it's good for me, my company is doing well, right? So what exactly is it like on the ground? Do you have any examples? I mean, you as a business owner yourself as well, working with many business owners. Us as a marketing consultants, consulting for many businesses, what are some stories that you all know that's happening on the ground?
I think for a lot of my clients, I would say everyone is struggling. That's definitely not true. But especially this last 2 years, I think, it seems like the struggle is real.
Yeah.
In that sense. More reflection of it comes from even doing a lot of strategy calls with my clients, right?
Yeah.
Where they say that, whatever seems to be working in the past, from interestingly HR, I've heard this from HR industry, I've heard this from the wedding industry, I've heard this from the gym industry as well, right? That whatever seems to be working in the past doesn't seem to be going through now. Right. And the amount of business that's coming in, it's a struggle for them. They have to relook at their business model. And some of them are literally relooking even the industry. But I think what is apparent now through the discussion is actually it's not the industry, or perhaps it is really the business model, because they're very much localized in this case.
Yeah. For us as well, right? I mean, I spoke to quite a lot of them. I realized that especially this year, the marketing budget has been cut, right? And you think that's pretty strange. Marketing budget cut means your revenue drivers are down, right? So what's really going on? So I do feel on the ground, based on my sensing, is that a lot of businesses are holding back, taking the conservative stance. They don't dare to invest too much, right? They want to see how the economy is going to be like, especially in 2025. Of course, before that was the US presidency, unknown, right? Before they actually make a move, right? So this is a kind of a scenario that a lot of businesses are on right now. They are uncertain and therefore they don't know what to do about it. Yeah. And because of that, obviously you let the tide wash you over, then
I think it's very true. And like you guys mentioned, not all industries are impacted.
Yeah.
And within a sector that's impacted, you still have one or two winners or poster boys, right?
Yes.
But I think by and large, it's very clear to us, we did a survey recently, that overall majority are either saying that the last 12 months have been same or worse. With maybe, I think, something closer to 15% that say that it's been better.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
The rest,
That's minority.
So those that say even maybe about 50%, worse is maybe 30%.
Yeah.
And then you're about 15% that says it's better.
I see.
But what's more telling is looking forward. You have more saying that they expect it to be worse.
Right.
So many of them, I think, are holding station. They're managing and making sure that their revenues are stable, right?
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, you may have already starting to see them cutting.
Yes. I mean, even for ourselves, for our business, we are also undergoing a short period of retrenchment.
Yes.
Yeah, because costs keep going up. And then it seems like our forefront revenue, no matter how much we push, it feels very resistant. Like we feel that it's going against our favor.
The demand isn't there, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So then you start cutting costs. So you may still be able to maintain some degree of margin.
Yeah.
But you can't keep doing that, right?
No.
Yeah.
So you just step back and look. It may be because certain trade flows are disrupted. I was just talking to another owner that supplies technology for logistics.
Okay.
And logistics, if you look very logically, is very much an evergreen sector because people just have to move. You have movement of goods all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And he's saying that even the logistics are impacted, not because economy is bad. It's because there's a reconfiguration of the logistics players. So you have
see.
Chinese companies coming out and they are more aggressive or they're disrupting the traditional supply chain. So when you get disrupted, then you have a lot of players, right?
Yeah.
The bigger ones feed the smaller ones,
Yeah.
or the medium feed small. So if they get impacted, the upstream, then the downstream will get affected.
Yes.
So like, let's say third-party logistics, 3PL, right?
Yes.
Once their revenues get impacted, they'll cut their suppliers. So then you get that domino effect downwards. But it's because of companies becoming new players in the market that are stronger or they have different models that are more compelling.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's happening at a much faster pace than traditionally.
Not just tech, right? But I heard from my friend, the beauty industry as well. She has been in the industry and she has been market leader for the longest time, for many, many years, almost close to a decade, right? But then recently she's kind of a bit driven to desperation and she doesn't know whether she wants to reduce her price, reduce her margins, right? Just to keep alive, right? Because she commented that there's a lot of Korean competitors. They just flooded the market with similar or cheaper beauty services with a slightly lower quality service, but then again, the audience can't really tell, right? So they usually go for the cheaper option.
Yeah.
And then for you as well, you mentioned in not just the fitness industry, but what other industries?
Fitness is one, definitely. Gym, we see a lot of franchises are flooding Singapore.
Yes.
So not necessarily China, but just franchises that are flooding in. So the local ones, they're a bit smaller. And because they are local and also gym is geography, right?
Yeah.
So if you are really competing with, franchises that have multi-branches everywhere, that is going to be a big thing. Wedding industry is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe also HR as well that I've heard. So it's really across the board for certain industries. Yeah, then of course there's still that one or two that's still doing well. But the rest of it in general, the feeling is like, not great.
Not bright at all.
Yeah. So typically, people in the service line will be the first to feel it because their customers will start to tighten their belts.
Yeah.
So whether you are in HR, you are in
Us in marketing as well,
especially some of these that people may see as something they can try to optimize. They will reduce lah. And if you see it across the board, then likely, that's exactly what's happening. F&B, you see that people going down in terms of price spending.
Yes.
So the
Chicken rice,
cheaper,
the better.
yes, correct. The high end are all suffering.
Yes.
Because people are cutting spending. So then you look at, you trace this and it also comes down to the fact that the consumers are also being cautious. Right? So consumers are cautious, they are being a bit more price sensitive. And you look at travel, you look at tourism, right? I believe if you look at tourism numbers, you see that it seems that recovered or tourism is doing okay. How come you don't see?
No business.
I believe that a large part of this tourism sector are actually business travelers. So they come in on conventions. Right?
Okay.
Because our convention is
sense.
doing very well.
Yes.
Right?
Actually, last year, we were saying at certain months, total number of events for them now is so crazy. You
Max
almost go
out.
Cannot
every
book
alternate day.
any locations
correct.
at all.
MBS is full all the
Yes.
time, right?
Right.
So business conventions are very booked up.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a huge number of business travelers coming in. Of course, they come in, you can't tell what, business or tourism, right? It just come in. So largely that, and business travelers are not the same as your usual tourists, right? They'll just stay in the hotel, go to a convention,
That's
and
about
then
it.
maybe eat around, then go back lah, then fly off already. So that's what you are seeing that. And then if you observe and see the regular tourists, even when they come in, they are also being very economical when they spend,
I see.
right? So the real beneficiary in the F&B space are the lower end.
Economical ones.
Yes, so Ya Kun is doing well
Yeah.
because
Where
people
else?
will just buy, right? Okay lah, let's try the Singaporean kaya toast.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's also a branding associated, plus the fact that it's economical, so people go for it. So broadly, that's been what's happening.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, now that we are pulling the dots together. So my question is from a business owner perspective, now that you shared a little bit about SME's vision, right, and some of the initiative that SME is putting through, right, how can I get started as a business owner with SME support?
So firstly, you have to ask yourself, do you subscribe to this thinking and approach, right? Which is, do you think you want to go abroad or explore overseas opportunities? Do you want to look at increasing your enterprise value or at least being aware of it?
Yeah.
Are you willing to explore coming together, either as a consortium, bidding for things together, and collaborating together?
Yeah.
So if your answer is yes in any of these, doesn't need to tick all the boxes, but anyone, then that is where SME would be in the Q1 in next year, will be doing initiatives around this area to bring people together, explore opportunities, open up new markets. And some of this, you can go yourself anyway.
Yeah.
But what we want to provide isn't just about going abroad, but it is about how to have that tangible result or tangible opportunity that you can then chase after to a fruition, right? And as a consortium. So naturally, then the project size are going to be bigger.
Yeah.
So where SME comes in is that we want to pull together people like that, together, work together. So we got to be very collaborative, right?
Yes.
And SME, in this model, SME would then drive that out together, try to find partners in other countries, maybe even partner larger Singaporean firms over there by bringing together SMEs and say, hey guys, do you want to work together with these 10 companies who have come together and let's tackle as one Singapore?
I see.
So we want to really drive a cultural shift as well, in Singaporeans and Singapore companies, large and small.
Yeah, I believe there needs to be a lot of designing around the collaboration and understanding how is it like to create a fair structure, right? So that everyone feels safe and they feel like there's a pie for everyone to eat. Yeah.
Yes.
I think when it comes to collaboration, a lot of times is the word is overused when people are trying to take advantage. And unfortunately, some business owners have been at that stage before where collaboration, so-called, is claimed. So there must be a structure to it. And I guess that's where SME is coming in.
Yeah. But another question is, but what if as a business owner, right, I just am looking for survival, right?
Yeah.
I mean, collaboration, that sounds great, but that sounds like a year-long plan or 2 years, 3 years kind of plan, right? So as a struggling business owner, what can I look forward to?
Yeah, so for us, there's another area that we want to level up companies, which is in various capabilities about how to better run your business.
Okay.
Right. For example, most of us just stumble into running our business. We may not have good methodology, good processes to run our business. And that's where we also want to make an impact. Because overall, leveling up the capability of SMEs is something we want to do.
Yeah.
And if you are, as a business owner, you're actively looking at how to improve yourself, then, we will provide those opportunities. And when you're actively looking, you will start to see opportunities. So we want to facilitate that, enable that. And people come in, we then work together and do that. So next year will be quite a, I think, busy year. And to be honest, I think quite a lot of work for the association to work on.
You mentioned capabilities, right? Are there some examples of initiatives that you have already prepared and done?
We are currently looking at 2 to 3 workshops that will allow people to learn from some of these experts, right, who have done it before, and may likely be relevant to their own business about going international, about how do you build up a brand, how do you scale.
Yeah.
In some areas, we also want to bring in people from different domains that are successful.
Like what?
For example, if you think about it, people all have watched Top Gun, right?
I haven't.
Or Maverick. Have you watched Maverick?
Not yet.
Oh, no.
My friends keep telling me I need to watch
see.
it. Okay,
I haven't seen both too.
Well, first you need to find a very, very old DVD or maybe somewhere.
No, there's a recent one this year, isn't it?
Yes, Maverick.
Top Gun, yeah.
But start with Top Gun lah.
Oh, I see.
Because that was the
watch a
original,
series,
right?
Okay.
Then go for Maverick, I guess. Because in Maverick, you have some other backstory that if you don't watch Top Gun, you would know.
Okay.
So you start with Top Gun.
Yeah.
But these are supposedly, not just supposed, but, well, I don't know, but I was never a fighter pilot, right? So I'll use the word supposedly.
Yeah.
The best of the best.
Okay.
They're like the best aviators. They pull them into a small group and then they train them up. So they would have certain best practice in terms of how you create elite group of aviators, right?
Yeah.
And fighter pilots.
Yeah.
So how you take these kind of skills and apply it in business.
I see.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
I heard that you have a AI festival and an incredible networking night with 80 trade associations. Can you share more about that?
So if you look at the world of AI, right? We have one action group, which is the AI digitalization and cybersecurity group. And AI is, for many people look at it, I'm a consumer. As a business, even though I'm a business, I end up being a consumer, just like I use email. I'm just a consumer, no different from any other consumer, right?
Yeah.
My Indonesian helper at home can use AI like I. What is really the difference, right?
Yeah.
So the question for us as Singapore companies is that in the realm of AI, is there any way we can use AI in ways that really benefit us from a very different productivity level and innovate it? And the question right now for many is that they don't know how.
Yeah.
And they dabble a little, and the help in that area isn't quite there.
Not
right?
established or not structured. I mean, there are courses out there, but it's very elementary. The real application of business is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Full stop, right?
Use it to ask
Yeah.
me to plan my trip in
correct.
Yeah.
Japan.
or like plan for my annual
Yeah.
retreat. Like,
Yeah, or right. It's,
Yeah, it's
essentially
very-
that's augmentation
Yeah.
of your current roles.
yeah.
But it's very much a consumer of technology, right? You just
Yes.
pay and then you just use it. But you don't really have innovation, productivity in a real, like a quantum leap in productivity. Nor is it going to make you any special? It's like
In
everyone.
enterprise value.
Yes.
I see.
Everyone has an additional pair of running shoes. Still comes down to how you run, right?
Of course.
But
Who are
if
your
you
athletes?
can,
Yeah.
yes, you can invent a set of special robotic legs, right?
Right.
So the AI festival is based on that premise that a lot of the current work or help or areas that are being focused are really around just how to take these existing large company solutions and technology. How do you then feed it to SMEs and then have them consume this technology? We really want to go beyond that. I personally believe in bringing value up. And that's one of them, right? If you can
Yes.
innovate, that's my enterprise value versus someone else. If I'm just using ChatGPT, where's my enterprise value? No value. Like personal, I know how to use it from
Same
better, right?
Yeah.
I look cooler, that's all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we can do that and we really focus on sharing best practice amongst one another, allow for you to have more ideas when you come to the festival, listen to some of the people talk about it, then that is really to allow to inspire you to do better through that. Give an access to that.
Actually, a few months ago, we sent three of our employees to a national prompt challenge that's hosted by ESME. And I thought, you know what you mentioned about that quantum leap, right? It's reflective of that. Right? Because rather than you just creating an event, get some speakers to talk, and then you go like, oh, okay. You actually take the extra notch to create an application-based challenge, right? And then get all the SMEs. And I remember it's quite cheap. It was like $100 per
Yes.
SME, right?
Yes.
To send your employees down, go and learn from the best and create your own prompt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that prompt is customized to your needs, right?
Yeah.
Because in that particular competition, we open up access to what we call system prompt and other facets. So it's not just writing a standard prompt and say, how do I, there was more layers and you could understand how to build something that's more customized for you. And we allowed you to explore augmented generation where you uploaded your own article and you could actually query it. So all of that gave you a expanded view of what AI could be beyond just what a typical consumer has access to. And that's what we want to differentiate. And we want our enterprises to do better, right? And that to us is how you actually do that for an SME. Because we don't have all this R&D budget. But we still want to encourage innovation, ma.
Yeah.
So
You're right. Because usually for a small business, right, we are struggling with the day-to-day ops.
Yep.
We have no time to think about innovation for year 2027. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
but having this structured way, and it's not even long, it's like a 3 days bootcamp style, it's cheap, send your employees there, get exposure, get the prompt in your company to use.
Yes.
I think that's a very low commitment way to even take the first step to try.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a way of doing knowledge transfer. I think in a contextualized way that really brings value to the company in terms of whether it's enterprise value
yeah.
and productivity and stuff.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's that culture, right? So we also want to promote that culture broadly to say that, hey, everyone should continue to think about development and innovation and keep doing it. Even though there's AI now, you can still be innovative. And how do you do that? So the AI Festival is really around promoting concepts and giving people access to seeing how others are doing it and sharing best practices.
Yeah. And I heard we are expecting to have how many companies there?
We are expecting, so there are quite a few large enterprises. Interesting, one of note is NVIDIA.
Wow.
We're sharing something, right?
Right.
And then we have SMEs that are looking at, and altogether, I think we are having 40 exhibitors. And then, of course, we have people coming in. And I think a lot of it is also to interact with one another. That's the value as well.
Yeah.
Then on the second day, we have the Inter-Association Networking Night. And here's where you get to see a whole facet of multiple associations across the board in Singapore. Because Singapore actually has a lot more associations than just 80, okay? But
80 is a lot. I mean, it's insane to think about how many trade associations we have.
like hair, you've got association, your association around project management, a lot.
Right.
Right? And what we want to allow for is really the idea of collaborating. And many of these associations are small. So we want to bring people together, talk about ideas, see how we can work better together. Because ultimately, the focus is really on how we can bring SMEs up, right?
Yeah.
So having all these associations coming together, understand and explore and meet, I think we can give birth to more interesting collaboration opportunities in the direction of where we want to take it for Q1 next year and broadly the year.
I see. And I believe that that's not the first time ASME is hosting the IANN, Inter-Association Networking Night, right?
Yeah. Actually, Inter-Association Networking Night has been something we have done for many years.
I see.
Right.
Yeah, I think for 10 years at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It previously was in a different shape and form. It was a night, dinner and party, just to let your hair down. Yeah, literally we had it in Zouk twice. And before that, there was this place called the Pump Room, St. James Power Station.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Which
I
is
remember.
no longer what it is.
Yes, it's now become Dyson or something.
Yes.
Dyson took it over, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Last year, we decided to do it slightly differently. We wanted to really target the trade associations and invite the trade associations to come. Because before that, it's just a party and anyone could come and different people came without a very specific invite that we didn't really target in that sense.
Yeah.
So last year, we really went out to target specifically associations. We listed them, we reached out to them, and we had them all join us. And then we had a Lo Hei together, Chinese New Year, big event. And then we had a very interesting and fun session just networking with one another.
I see.
And realizing, there are all these different associations. Right?
Yeah.
And through that, you understand, we've got so many different traits as well.
Yeah.
And so many distinctions. Sometimes it's just one thing. There's risk management association.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, so it's very interesting when you start to do that and it will expand your mind as well.
Right.
So what's the value for SME to be there? at the networking night?
So it depends on what you are doing as SME, right? But essentially, foundationally, we want them to expand their networking opportunities to meet more people. And for you as an SME, depending on which area you are in, you may find certain trade associations that will be able to add value to you, help you with your education or leveling up. In some cases, you may find customers, or you talking to people, you would discover certain things.
I see.
But the whole idea for the networking night is to facilitate that networking and meet people meeting varied segments of the business world. Not just your own friends and your own industry that you're familiar with, but really different ones that if you didn't attend this event, you wouldn't be interacting with likely.
I see. So tell me a bit more about ESME's initiatives. I mean, you talk about knowledge, you talk about capabilities, right? You talk about this idea of a collective coming together to plant a Singapore flag overseas, right? So if I want to join ESME, right, what's my journey like? What are the things that you all have to support me?
Yeah, so the foundation of where we spent a lot of time, of quite a few years for ESME was really to bridge the SMEs and the various bodies, government, civil service, stat boards, and all of that. And one of the first things that you would notice is that you would have a lot of information about rules, laws, new guidelines that come in. For example, this year we launched the workplace flexible work arrangement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? That was in April.
Was that the 4-day work week conversation?
It's related.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that it's a 4-day work week, but we call it flexible work arrangement.
Okay.
And a lot of foreign media will always turn it into a 4-day work week. But flexible work arrangement has so many variations,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
That means you can work staggered hours. You can say, I only want to work mornings, or I want to work from 11 to 8 p.m. A lot of variations. So the flexible arrangement gives you a lot of options. And the whole guideline that came into effect, I think, in December, is that when a staff asks for flexible work arrangement request formally, which is I email to my boss, say, hey, can I have flexible work arrangement?
Yeah.
The company must respond.
Must consider and respond.
Cannot brush off.
Yes. Yes. So that is the guideline.
I see.
Right? It's not mandatory, but you must think through and have a logical response. So sometimes it can be, I don't have enough manpower, I can't accede to a request, and other examples. But think through and then respond, because it's formal.
Yeah.
So if they write formally, you must formally respond, right? So your formally responding would mean that you must have
thought process.
or policies or stuff in place, right?
Yeah. So that's what came in. So that is an example where you as an SME would be kept updated and informed about what matters to you. A recent one that we are ongoingly working on is a prompt payment by government. A lot of SMEs do bid for government projects.
Yes,
Okay.
I've heard a lot of that part. Coming from an event industry, there is a lot of complaints from the event industry when it comes to specific government projects, I think, where the cash flow can be very, very heavy on the business side.
Yes.
Tough, right? Because events, you have to pay everything up front.
Yes, correct.
I see.
Yeah. So I think that's something that is like literally having complaints there.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. On a side note, that's interesting data point. Because I'm going to be running the committee, chairing the committee on that together with under the Ministry of Finance. So all of these issues, please make sure you get these people's names or set up a chat group. Push it to me, because we really want to hear what else are there that the industry is, well, broadly, businesses are facing challenges, and we want to look at how we can improve that.
I see.
So prompt payment is one example as well, where we took the feedback from SMEs on the ground, businesses on the ground, and we try to look at whether there was a problem with payment speed.
Yeah.
Government pays typically on a 30-day basis. Upon submission, you pay. but people encounter challenges and problems. So that committee that initiative went out to look at how that could be improved.
Right.
So now that's an ongoing process. So we work with the respective ministries to then improve the process. And that's just one of the many examples. So that part, the bridging,
Yes.
right? And bridging and then driving certain things, either direction. That's one of the things that you can expect as a member. Beyond that, then there are activities and events that we do depending on whether you're interested in sustainability, you're interested in AI, whether you're interested in human capital. These are all the key pillars that we've got. We have events around these areas, and then you can come in and get educated or level up, right?
I see.
Yeah. These are two examples.
Yeah, I think the one that you are having in April, if I'm not wrong, is a business symposium.
Yes.
So that's one of the mega ones where you guys will come together and update about policies and how does it trickle down to affect SMEs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the business symposium, every year we organize it after the budget is announced.
Oh, okay.
Right. So Chinese New Year budget announced. And then usually 2 weeks after the budget is announced, there is a series we call it Committee of Supplies. COS, which are that if you observe or you notice, it gets telecasted or broadcasted. It's parliament debate around. So every minister or every ministry actually presents their detailed breakdown or initiatives. So there'll be a speech by First Minister for Health, Second Minister, Ministry of State for Health, and they'll talk about the policy. Related to the budget, right? Because money comes down and then say, okay, I'm going to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And very often, the budget, because the finance minister only speaks for 2 hours or 3, with maybe some drinking break in between, right? That's not enough. So then a lot of the details, you wait for Committee of Supplies to hear the detailed breakdown.
Okay.
And
So there's
sometimes
a
he
lot
doesn't
of
mention.
in between lines
Yeah.
that we don't know about actually.
Correct.
I see.
Sometimes he doesn't mention it, the finance minister, but the Committee of Supply, you actually hear that it gets talked about over there.
Yeah.
So normally then the budget, the business symposium happens after that. So we then bring about different people, political office holder, experts, a banker to talk about economy, trend, budget, all around those. And we bring people coming together
I see.
to get to know better.
And
Right.
I remember last year you all invited a minister as well
Yes.
to come and have a dialogue with some SMEs, and there were some really good questions on the ground that was
Yes. Yes.
presented and was addressed as well.
Yes. So last year we had the Senior Minister of State, Zaki Muhammad, and we had a dialogue around various topics. One of them is really human resource and manpower. So so that is where you get a chance to ask questions, because Singaporeans are quite generally shy. So I think we have that Mentimeter or some digital thing,
Okay.
type,
Yes.
Right.
ask. But that's where you really get a sense of the person speaking, whoever who is there, and you can talk to others and you can raise issues.
Yeah.
Right. So do it. My recommendation is do it regularly so that you can get yourself up to speed about how things move. And then you can better design your business and look at how your business can move better going forward.
Yeah.
Because when you know the macro environmental factors,
Easier to
Navigate,
craft
no?
something that you might hit the jackpot, right?
It's always easier to be on trend than
Correct.
trying to muddle through.
Yeah.
right? Your business is a subset of the overall economy, right?
Yeah.
So wherever economy is moving, you gotta keep along,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna, you wanna add something?
Yeah. So the business symposium will be for SME members to join and partake in.
Yes,
It's open to
Correct.
public also, right?
it is open. Of course, you gotta pay a bit more, but yes.
I mean, just join SME. It's free, guys. It's free. Okay, Singaporeans.
Oh, okay.
Why
that
are
was
you not in
an
SME database?
hang on a minute. That is an important point, okay?
Okay.
Because I have talked to many of our clients,
Yeah.
right? And some of them don't know about SME. And then, of course, the secondary question that comes after that is, do I need to pay? Because some of them are really in a state where they are considering a lot of expenses and stuff like that. So that's quite an important point.
Yeah. So we have 3 categories
Yeah.
of membership. The light tier, which is free. And there you can really get access to a lot of things already. Then we have the corporate tier, and then we have the platinum tier.
Yeah.
And the difference is just very often the platinum tier may get access to certain exclusive events. But by and large, information is dispensed to everyone. So you have access to all of that information. And very often it's just about paying a bit more because you don't pay, you pay on demand for the light tier for certain things that you choose to participate. So it's really very flexible in terms of how you want to engage. And you can always start with the light tier and then you go from there.
Yeah. And I heard next year, the platinum track will be quite interesting as well, because that's where you will create an environment for masterminding, bring key speakers and very big brands to come and do some national service, right? Give back to the local SMEs and teach them and have that sort of knowledge transfer and conversation.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the workshops and the leveling up, right, is where we want to look at how you want to do that. And naturally, as platinum members, the signaling indicator is that you are more interested to be heavily involved, right? Therefore, naturally, a lot of these initiatives will usually trial it with the platinum members and then see how we can scale it up and roll it out to more. But our approach is always the software approach, where you start small, pilot it. Does it work? Then you move bigger, right? So you allow it to fail early. Fail small, fail frequently, and then you scale it up once you have got the parameters right.
All right. Any last comment?
No, I think it's just very interesting where the direction is. And I think for SMEs to know that also that there is a part that they can feedback in terms of their voice being very important actually, right? To move how the entire direction of where we're going as a whole, that is very important. And I think it would be great if SMEs do know that they can take part on this and it's literally free.
I think for me, it's a mindset shift towards seeing things on a global level and not thinking that we are safe within our walls. Because the truth is, reality speaks for itself, right? There are so many global franchises, companies with mass capital resources coming in to fight our lands, right? Fight our rice bowl. So it's really time to step up, right? And step up and look at what are some of the opportunities that we can get, even coming together with a further horizon to gauge for. So very, very insightful. And I think lastly, for the audience hearing this, especially business owners, right, to take that first step. Right, because I think for ASME, they lay the ground, the entry level very low. Right? I mean, it's free literally. You just come for the symposium that's happening in April, hear a bit more, get a bit more exposure, network with people there, and slowly, you'll be able to get more resources, right? And like the software approach, start small and go big. And never think that your voice is not
insignificant
or insignificant, because it is just like the net carbon zero situation, right? If I think my effort is very small, then she thinks her effort is very, then everyone doesn't do it, right?
And it works a lot better when we're all coming together and we are all holding hands, literally or figuratively, to move in collectively in a direction and really together stronger, right?
Any last words do you want to share with the SME owners?
I want to say that joining ASME is an imperative. That's just half joke, right? But I think it's really important that we look at coming together and work for a Singapore flag in terms of going out and hunt as a pack. And as an SME, we are all collect individually very small, but collectively we are strong, and we gotta have that thinking in mind. And we are not alone. I think that's very important to know. Help is around the corner, and sometimes we've got to take the first step to access help ourselves. And we really think that by putting our heads together and hands together, we can do more for ourselves, for our family, and for the country. Because if we do well, the country does better.
Amazing. So we're going to leave the links to join the symposium, business symposium in April, right? As well as SME membership, right? The link will be below. So just click on the link, have some read up, and then sign up for it. And we'll see everyone in April.
Or in SME, I guess.
So you must end with this last statement that we always do with every guest.
Okay,
You have to
what
say,
is that?
"Hi, I'm Yut, and I'm on a mission to da 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 da."
I see.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Yut, and I'm on a mission to transform the economy of SMEs in Singapore.
Short and sweet. Yay! Nice. Okay. That's it.
All right, excellent.
Wow, great.
That was
We hit
awesome.
all our points.
Right? Yeah, good.
I
'Cause you
decided
got
to just omit
listed
the
in.
hero's journey. Yeah, I think
this
the
is just so
narrative-
heavy, right?
Yeah, it's very heavy.